This episode of Speakers of Eidolon is made possible by our generous patrons. Special thanks to our supreme and master speakers, Omeji Cat Comet, Erisu Yamakawa, Circa Barrakiel, Alex Franco AV, Winebow Brood, Psyche, Azuta Starbreeze, Cletus Oreo, Nina Grimstarter, Nat Clay, Lily Black, Bob Cece, Mikto Robintau, Sapa Chakwatol, Edwin, Arcadia Lunashine, Umbral Wind, Quick Levin, Pamela Isley, Camille Grinno, Elenriel Maximus, Coderith Novelist, Mira Miri, Suno Chicano, Celestau Notrell, Lazy Boy, A Wild Sarah, Luke Osborne, Pandaloo Stormarrow, Tex, Kai Lin, AJ Brainswordson, Anathos Moonscar, Arthur Law, Beridan Derard, Sypop, Spencer Christmas, Noy Fafnir, Cheshire Saltiri, Celine DeLune, Webster Wolf, Face on Masher, and Severa. Support the show and become a patron today at patreon.com/SpeakersXIV. Thank you.
This is Speakers of Eidolon.
Good evening, Aorcians. Welcome to Speakers of Eidolon, episode 317. I'm Lukiel Bravestone, and I'm joined today by Georgi Wiston, Mela Vanadar, and Rollo Des. Hello. Hello. It is September 17th, 2022, and today we are finally starting our discussion and review of the job quests. Today we will start by discussing the melee, physical ranged, and magic. They call them magical ranged, magic ranged.
Magical range.
Yeah, magical.
I thought they just called it magical.
No, I think they made a specific
or magical
distinction.
DPS.
A magical DPS.
Yeah,
whatever it is. I mean, magic is usually, at least in this game, is by default ranged. So, you know, but whatever. It's the 3 DPS job quests, role quests. I even wrote it in the show notes. Job quests. They're role quests. So. We'll also be reading patch 6.21, the patch notes for that, specifically relating to the raid, but there are some other stuff in there as well that we'll talk about. We'll also be reading MogMail, speakersxiv.com/MogMail, and of course, if you're watching live, the post-show will be coming up at the end. So make sure you catch that if you're watching live. Now let's jump into recent events. Yes, recent events. Well, we'll start off with some emergency maintenance, which occurred on September 15th. September 14th, if you're in the US, it happened in the middle of the night here. No, it's in the morning here, 5 a.m. 6 a.m. Many times. 6 a.m. BST, which is 7 a.m. My time. 3 p.m. AEST. It was only a 15-minute maintenance, easy fix, but the reason for it is quite interesting. Apparently, if you were flying in your island sanctuary, logged out, then traveled to another data center, then logged in, and then immediately jumped, you could fly around in the city you spawned in.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's a pretty serious issue. So
very long way to do that, but
yeah. But you could be that cool dude flying around in Limsa, I guess.
I don't know.
I'm
Who
sure.
found this out?
I don't know.
Who figured out the steps, the intricate steps?
Someone.
Well, I'm sure someone did it by accident.
But it's a
Yeah.
very specific series of
Some of
events.
it's it's very rare you'll want to do this sequence of events.
It's especially the immediately jumping that's required as you
Yeah.
log in. But
I say keep it in. What? Who cares? You know, if it's
it's like an
log
Easter
into
egg.
Limsa and see like magical brooms and cars flying around.
Mela, this is a game where sometimes fishing in some places can cause
Oh,
a whole
that's
server
true.
to crash. I don't think they want to take that risk of like having people flying around somewhere they're not supposed to.
I remember when a lot of people were just standing at the staircase and then drowning winch and fishing. Those were good times. I don't know if you can't do that anymore. I'm pretty sure they've
No, you
patched that a
can't. I
long
think
time
they've
ago.
removed that.
Yeah.
Fun haters.
Yeah, Limsa especially was like full of that. It's like full of like little glitchy areas where you could fish, and of course some of them crashed the servers. So great times. But there you go. That was why we had an emergency maintenance. It was one of those oopsies.
It was only a zone-based maintenance. It didn't take the servers down.
Right.
Yeah.
This was instances that were shut down. Okay. Right. Also, these are in the slightly wrong order, but that's fine. We'll talk about the optional items first. There's a new there's some new outfits on the online store. Fat cat attire.
Wow.
Beautiful.
But do you
Kinda
see?
cool.
But do you see it? Do you see the headpiece?
Yeah, I don't. They just can't do hoods.
No. Well, they can. They can do
Only
cowls.
if it's one
like,
item.
Yeah, like have it be one item then. See,
But
yeah,
then
this
there'll
is.
be people who just want the
I
nice
know.
knitted jumper.
This is the problem I've always had with the white mage coat is that there's no option to like pull the hood up. They need to add that. Add that option. Make it like a toggle between two different like states for the gear. You can do it with headgear. We have visor up, visor down. So
You have one toggle, and that's all you'll get.
that's so annoying. Add another. So yeah, this
No space for that in this spaghetti game.
unfortunately. Yeah.
I don't really like the leg pieces on either hugely,
Mm.
but I like the knitted jumper and I like the little slippers.
Oh my god. I just realized what was said in chat. Because of how they've designed this, it has two hoods.
Ah.
Because the hood doesn't go up on the sweater. You're wearing the hood and the hoodie is down on the hoodie.
Well,
Is that
no,
really
this is
how it
like
looks like?
this isn't a hood. This is an umbrella hat.
I
kind
see.
of like-
It's an umbrella hat.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's not great. But hey, I mean, I think the jacket is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's like a sweater hoodie jacket.
It's real nice.
Yeah.
We have similar wool like knitted jumpers in game. I don't know if it's necessarily worth. I think it's.
Oh yeah, it's 15
pounds. The slippers are the big draw point here.
Oh yeah,
sadly.
we don't see it in the picture here.
I
But
think it's the hoodie and the slippers. I
Yeah,
think
it
those
has
are the
cute
most
little
appealing
slippers.
items here.
yeah.
And like having some nice woolen fingerless gloves is kind of nice, I guess. But no one's gonna pay money for a hand piece. Sure, well, yeah, they are, but
Well, yeah, they are, Mela. They are.
Yeah, there are some freaks out there.
yeah.
Oh, there's toe beans on the gloves and the
yeah,
sh-
yeah,
Oh, that's cute.
yeah. They're very detailed, but again, the cost.
Yeah.
Oh, the leg piece.
Mm.
Does it fit the theme of the outfit? Isn't it sort of like autumnal cozy?
I
Yeah.
think this is more like something you. This looks more like someone's like
Loungewear?
loungewear. Yeah.
The male, male maybe, or the one on the left for sure.
Mm-hmm.
The one with the big socks. I don't know. It's okay.
Yeah.
I like it for the most
Are
part.
you guys gonna buy it?
No.
I
No.
don't know.
I almost never buy gear.
Same.
I like some of the outfits. I don't know.
Anything that's
Probably
not
not.
like
It's a bit too
account wide, it's very unlikely I'll buy it.
Yeah. Same.
That's also true.
Oh yeah, this is a tail deleter outfit. That's true.
There's a little tail.
Yeah.
So tail be gone.
Yeah. There's also a new emote. Deride.
Yeah.
Mm.
I don't know why, but when I saw this first, I just didn't read it in English. I was like, Daddy Day? What does that mean? Oh, it's so confusing.
It is,
Yeah.
Yes, it is the emote that Pagaga does
It's-
at the end of every fight. Yeah.
Yeah.
In Zadnor.
Yeah.
I am yet to see this on anything other than an LFL.
Yeah.
It kind of suits Lalafels.
I'm kind of worried. I don't want to see a Rogadin do
Oh,
this.
yeah.
Hmm.
Rogadin, please don't buy this.
It's not that bad. I think it looks good.
Okay.
It's
Mhm.
a good emote.
How do you feel? I feel like I've seen people complain about this. How do you feel about this being a cash shop item?
Yeah.
Awful, really. For £4 and threepence.
Yeah. Why 3 pence? Why is that on there? What?
I don't know.
Is that some
it
weird
must be
like
a conversion
tax?
they did.
Oh, maybe they just did a flat. That's rare for them though. Usually they
It
just
is
go,
rare.
we
They
just
normally
changed the
scam you,
symbol.
but-
We just
Yeah.
not dollar now pounds.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Probably an emote coming to a speakers giveaway near you
Oh yeah.
one day.
One day,
Yeah.
when in our next
So-
special stream, sure.
If you want
Deride
to Daddy Day
or
people,
Daddy Day. We're giving away a Daddy Day emote. Yeah, there you go. Pretty okay, decent. The gear is
too
okay.
expensive. This has been a creeping trend.
know.
That we've
In
kept
this
a bit on top of,
economy,
but
15
know.
pounds.
£15
Sorry, a
for an outfit.
Seinfeld reference. The emote I think is in line with most other emotes that aren't like seasonal event emotes.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
That's
I mean
static.
the premium for a specially crafted emote. I don't know.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is getting a little bit.
A little out of hand, maybe.
Yeah.
At
Mhm.
least-
You should have been able to get it from Bosnia.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Alas, here we are.
I agree.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the patch notes. No, wait, sorry. Also mentioning again that the last story for Tales from the Dawn is out now.
Oh yeah.
Um,
The final one.
Yeah, A Question of Death, which is
It follows Euless.
yes,
And
Yes.
it also gives you quite a bit of backstory about the Garlean royal family. We don't have time to cover them today. We'll probably cover them next week.
We
may.
don't
We'll
know.
see.
We may.
We'll see. We all remember. We also have
Mayhaps.
to do the roll quest stuff. The thing about running a 14 podcast is that we never know when we're getting when there's going to be a heavy news week, right?
Yeah.
Usually, what happens is we plan something, and then we're like, "Oh, there's going to be no news, so let's just do a big beefy lore episode." And then all of a sudden, Yoshi P has had 20 interviews in Japanese press, and they're all released on the same day with translations. So now we have to deal with that. But yeah, we'll see. It's either if it's not next week, it's the week after for sure. But yeah. Okay. Anyways, that's your reminder. Go read Tales from the Dawn. You have a week or two before we start talking about it. All right. Now, 6.21 has some interesting patch notes. So let's get into that. Right. Released on this Tuesday. Brought some changes. This important change for housing.
I like that it's listed first.
Yeah.
This is the main thing, I think.
This is important. The illumination of the pendant wall light furnishing has been adjusted. Thank God. Been waiting for that
down.
update.
What was the issue with it beforehand?
Was it too bright or too dim?
I don't know. What is the pendant wall light?
I was looking this up. It looks very generic.
Is it like one of the standard let's see.
Oh my god! It literally looks like the most basic IKEA.
Yeah, it's just a wall. It's just a wall furnishing.
Yeah, that's nothing. Well,
Maybe there's something wrong with its lighting.
Now it
Oh,
light good.
right. It's that. I see. Okay. It looks like something you get at IKEA. Yeah. All right. 6.21's main feature here, clearly, as it's listed on the top. They've fixed the pendant wall light illumination. In less important news for the battle system, they've made some changes to actions and traits.
Oh boy, are they buffing Paladin's magic again?
Yes,
Who
sir.
knows?
needed it.
There are big buffs to Paladin's magic. Holy Spirit getting a potency increase from 280 to 300. Requiescat potency increase from 560 to 600. So that's like a 40 potency increase. Confiteor potency from 900 to 1,000. So that's 100.
That's a rare value.
Yeah.
In PvE content.
That's
unusual.
That is unusual.
Crazy numbers like that since like Samurai first came out. They were the first class to have stupid potencies.
That's true.
Dancer has that as well on technical finish.
That's also true. Yeah. Expiation. Potency has been increased from 340 to 420. Blade of Faith potency. Blade of Faith potency has been increased from 460 to 480. And Blade of Truth potency has been increased from 540 to 560. So I'm sure there are some happy paladins around. I know of one.
Basically, I mean, other than the like magic combo finisher, it's nice to have expiation. Some AoE. I don't know why they picked that as well, but it's nice to have that because it's good for pulls. But yeah, I don't. Apparently, we needed it. Apparently, this is their band-aid for what we're talking about later. But whatever, I'm happy to be buffed. I don't care.
Yeah,
it's weird to have just these two tanks and not the other two.
Yeah, because Warrior is the second one, and these are the only two that gets a buff of the tanks. Storm's Path, getting a potency increase from 130 to 150, and combo potency increase from 410 to 430. Not as like the buffs to Warrior are not as mind-boggling as Paladin. Storm's Eye potency 130 to 150. It's usually 20. It seems 20 or 10 potency increases for Storm's Eye, Fell Cleave, and Upheaval.
Warrior is more desirable than Paladin, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. And it's Warrior has also, traditionally been had more.
It's
damage
it has been
Paladin.
the doo-doo tank this patch though, apparently.
Well, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been...
I thought Paladin was the doo-doo tank.
No, there's people swapping off of Warrior for the what's it called? The DPS checks. And I think is it P7S?
Oh.
Maybe P8S.
Okay.
There was apparently some big hoopla about it, which gets covered in the patch.
Right.
So yeah.
They've all had a bit of up and down this expansion, except nothing really gets talked about Gunbreaker, but maybe no one plays it anymore. They never talk. No one talks about Gunbreaker.
Well,
I never hear anyone talking about it though.
Well,
because no one has any complaints about it.
Right. That means it's in a good place.
They're having a great time. Let them gun break.
Yeah. Okay, so now for some I would say a little poorly worded.
I think well phrased.
Notes. The HP of...
No, I think this gets across the intention they wanted.
The HP of Hephaestus and Abyssos, the 8th Circle Savage, has been reduced. This adjustment applies to both phases of the battle. Reasoning for HP adjustment, here it comes. In our endeavor to create an encounter more challenging than Asphodelos, the 4th Circle Savage, the team responsible for final adjustment spent a great deal more time than usual working on balance for this raid battle. Under normal circumstances, the DPS of this team serves as a base for determining a boss HP value that results in clears as close to the time limit as possible. However, as extra time was dedicated to testing this battle, the team's overall performance proved to be higher than usual. As a result, the base values used for adjustments were too high, with final values roughly 1% higher than intended. We have reduced the boss's HP to bring the battle in line with our initial balance projections. We apologize for any inconvenience caused by the 1 extra %. Yeah?
Well, Chad is saying it's a 70-second difference.
70 seconds for 1%. Okay. I mean, sure. I wouldn't know.
To skip some mechanics or something.
Yeah.
It's crazy that they have one playtest team for fights. That's I don't know about that, fellas.
Right.
They team that doesn't necessarily mean it's one party.
Right.
Well,
They've essentially said it is one party, though.
Did they?
Yeah, because don't
Where?
you remember they talked about it before? It's like, yeah, we just switched this person out, because they were just they finally got good at the game.
Well, yeah.
So
but that doesn't mean that they don't have multiple parties.
We're going to talk more about this because they released a statement, a very long follow-up to this, which is, I think, even funnier. Just also mentioning that the echo is applied to Pandemonium Abyssos Savage.
Epic.
I don't know if there's anything. This is my favorite part of all patch notes, but I don't remember there being any.
Well, it talks about the variable resolution.
Oh yeah, variable resolution has been fixed.
It works now.
Yeah,
it worked good. I got a 15 FPS boost on my 940 MX. My little laptop went from 15 FPS in Limsa on all low settings to stable 30, 35, 40.
That's a pretty big increase, to be fair.
Yeah.
So it's definitely playable on my little tiny ThinkPad now. Try it out if you got some weaker hardware.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, so let's read the follow-up, because obviously when people read this in the patch notes, they're like, what is this mockery? What is the meaning of this? Well, a follow-up was made by Yoshida on the Lodestone, and I will read it to you now. Hello, this is Naoki Yoshida, producer and director of Final Fantasy XIV. There's been a lot of discussion surrounding our explanation for adjusting the HP of the boss in Abyssos the 8th Circle Savage in patch 6.21, as well as the necessity of the adjustment itself. Firstly, please allow me to apologize for the disruption caused by this balancing issue, and for any offense resulting from the insufficient explanation we initially provided. In this post, I hope to clear up any misunderstandings as to how and why this adjustment was made. Reason for the HP adjustment. As was explained in the patch 6.21 notes, a miscalculation on our part resulted in the boss's HP being roughly 1% too high in comparison to the difficulty of previous 4th stage Savage raids. I understand that there's more to it than that, like 1% is considering how much HP a boss has, 1% is a lot, but it's so funny just reading it because it's just 1%. It feels like it's so low. We do, of course, understand and appreciate that many players nevertheless honed their ability rotations, raised item levels, and repeated the fight over and over to claim victory.
Good on ya.
Having the HP set to this higher value, however, had an undesirable... Sorry, I don't know how I read that. Having the HP set to this higher value, however, had other undesirable consequences, including certain jobs being excluded from party recruitment.
That's a big one.
Yeah, and growing dissatisfaction with the overly punishing degree of difficulty.
That I don't imagine is real, because I don't think there's a sentiment that any of the Savage tiers for quite a while have been too punishing. It's been a long time since anyone's spent, weeks and months on a Savage tier.
Right.
We don't get that anymore.
At least in the English community, I haven't seen that. People are saying that the changes to Paladin and Warrior are a result of specific complaints and issues within the Japanese community. Like Paladins specifically were being excluded from party finder groups.
Yes. I've also heard a lot of talk about machinists being excluded for ages.
I've heard about that from the West, but not from Japan.
Yeah. But
because that's in the West, they haven't made any adjustments for that.
No, I don't care about us.
The machines are probably too busy hanging out and taking pictures and stuff.
Doing G-pose.
All the goofy things we do.
Right, yes. So, the growing dissatisfaction with the overly punishing degree of difficulty feels pretty alien to me.
True. I don't think 1%'s gonna bother any section of the community, because obviously the really hardcore people have cleared it anyway.
Yeah.
Because they're so much better at the game.
And it's not like it took it was an outrageous amount of time before it was cleared. Like things,
No.
yeah.
This implies that
It's-
like every hardcore group was getting to like 1% of the HP.
Right.
And they just, I can't do it.
Yeah.
We just can't do it.
Yeah.
Well, if you look, remember the best of the best aren't the ones that would be complaining about this. They're going to be able to do
No,
this
of course.
regardless.
Of course.
There's like maybe the average Savage Raider maybe found it harder than usual, but they would have still got there.
Mm.
You always hear about the world first, but you don't hear about all the lovely other raid groups like us that take months to clear this content.
Yeah.
But for people like us, that's solved by the gear increase anyway.
That's true.
So I don't know about that one.
No. Well, we're going to go pretty deep into this issue, so let's go. As our miscalculation was the root cause of these issues, we decided that the best course of action was to explain our mistake and correct the inflated HP to the value it should have been in the first place. This type of correction has little precedence in Final Fantasy XIV's development, and although the decision was made after considerable debate, we once again apologize for the impact it had on player enjoyment. So, now to the source of the miscalculation.
Okay.
This issue was touched upon in the patch notes, but allow me to explain our balancing process in further detail. Firstly, the development team bases adjustments on the following premise. The top percentage of players are overwhelmingly better at the game than we are. So that's
sense.
What... Yeah, it makes sense.
The top percentage get to spend significantly more time playing the game than the devs do.
Right?
Yeah. Maybe Yoshi P, because he's been playing a lot of CC recently.
Yes. We regret not stating this more clearly in the previous explanation, but said premise is the reason why we do not release content tuned precisely as it was when the battle team's balance testers cleared it. We always add a little bit extra to the boss values before rechecking the fight and releasing it live. And again, makes sense based on the premise of how they tune. The team responsible for balancing boss fights does so without debug commands and at the appropriate item level, employing available materia, foods, and medicines, while experimenting with mitigating actions and various job compositions. Yet, we recognize that player skill far exceeds our own. If we were to ship content with the same values which challenged our battle team, the top raiders would be deprived of that by the skin of your teeth victory in the initial week of release. Based on the team's skill and our experience, that little bit extra usually translates to balance test clear values plus 1 to 2% HP.
That's fair.
Yeah. The final values account for other mathematical factors too, of course, such as the estimated damage the party could deal from the moment of victory to the end of the time limit, as well as total burst damage potential based on frequency and amount inflicted. The numbers these various calculations are based on are what we are referencing when we said that our team's performance was higher than anticipated. This latest installment features a boss closely tied to the dark past of a major character, and so we were focused on making this battle even more of a challenge than usual. As such, the battle team spent an inordinate amount of time together designing and testing the fight mechanics, which in turn led them to improving party coordination and communication beyond what they might usually achieve for a given boss fight. Final adjustments were, however, still based on the team's victory data, and so the little bit extra we added for the release proved to be that little bit too much.
Oh my god.
The dev team has caught up with the 1%. Ironically. Reasons aside, our adjustments were off by that crucial 1%, and we again offer our apologies to those whose gaming experience was adversely affected by the correction and insufficient explanation. So,
thank you.
So
mine was.
Okay, there's a part to this story that I guess I haven't touched on, and that is that the correction has had backlash as well. Is that what is being said here?
Yes, that's not the at least in the Western side of the community. The issue, the community has been more complaining that like the issue was not the DPS, the HP percentage of the boss, and more so the gap between the highest and lowest DPS producers amongst the jobs.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. Right. All right.
It's irrelevant to change the HP this far into the cycle anyway, because the dev team will have used equipment that they couldn't have had until now anyway, with the tombstone, treadmill.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is that we've got to the point where you're now excluding certain jobs.
Yeah.
Clearly, there's an issue.
Yeah. Okay. I can see. Okay, I see that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. A high it's a weird. Yeah. The more I think about it, the weirder of a decision all of this was. It's
unnecessary.
Yeah.
Balance your jobs.
Yes. A high difficulty raid is a special kind of battle. We want players to enjoy a satisfying, hard-won victory, and we keep that ideal in mind when making tweaks and balance adjustments. Although we failed to walk that delicate line this time, the experience will help us design a more perfectly thrilling battle in the future.
Thank you.
Yeah. Why adjust... Okay, so now we're going to talk about that. Why adjust the duty rather than job balance? And this is a pretty beefy part of it, so here it is. When balancing jobs, each job's base damage numbers at the applicable item level are adjusted with respect to the difficulty of playing that particular job and its rotation, as well as its support actions and their effects. Naturally, the above factors are also affected by the mechanics and combination thereof at work in each battle, meaning that every job's numbers will not necessarily be at ideal values during all available battles. In addition to this inherent variance, there are indeed times when our calculations or adjustments are incorrect, producing damage numbers lower than intended and requiring subsequent strengthening of a job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can see that. In this case, when considering job balance more broadly, the jobs that needed emergency adjustments in this fashion were Paladin and Warrior. However, the aforementioned issue with Abyssos, the 8th Circle Savage, also caused certain jobs to be better suited to the raid than others, and made the damage check required to clear extremely strict, resulting in a situation where players felt obligated to choose jobs with higher damage output when attempting the raid.
Yeah, they
that is
that.
Yeah.
Why do they keep buffing just the magic rotation side of it? Why not the classic 1, 2, 3, or maybe even the dot?
I think because
Paladin.
the magic combo fits into like the buffs.
Mm.
And the like the 2-minute burst window, all that stuff.
Yes.
Also, the magic combo is tied to what you can do at range as well.
True.
Yeah,
true.
That is true. I feel like a slight buff to both would be more overall.
Yeah.
Helpful.
Attempting to ameliorate. What does that mean? What a fancy word!
Ameliance.
Ameliance. Attempting to ameliorate this by buffing.
Make it better.
Ah, I see. This by buffing certain jobs without making changes to the raid itself would have negatively impacted overall balance within each role and likely resulted in disappointment for those whose jobs were already dealing sufficient damage for the raid and therefore received no adjustments. Unfortunately, adjusting all jobs in such a short period is also not feasible. And I think that's the line that really explains it. Because imagine...
It's true, though.
Imagine how much work that is, and they have to do it very quickly. Like, they realize, we've made a mistake. How are we need to balance all the jobs on the fly right now.
I agree with that second part of the statement. I don't know if I agree with what he says beforehand, that like the higher DPS jobs will be like will feel disappointment as a result of the other jobs catching up to them.
Oh yeah, no, that
they shouldn't.
Fuck that. What does that even
actually,
mean?
Though, I know there are some people like that.
Yeah, I know.
I don't care about those people then.
No.
I don't care about those people.
No.
I feel like eventually you just have to be at a point where most jobs are at the same DPS and you just play what you enjoy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I think all jobs still have an identity and an interesting rotation, but they are getting closer
Yeah.
as time goes by.
Yes. Thus, the root cause of the issue was a mistake in balancing the duty, and an immediate fix that maintains role balance was required. It is a game design fundamental as well as our policy that, rather than adjust the jobs to suit each battle, we balance the jobs independently, and only then set the battle content difficulty. Changing the job balance for one single duty would end up causing more problems than it solves, and so we decided to address the problem in the manner we did, by once again ameliorating the root cause.
That is correct, though. That like you can't make adjustments based on a single fight.
No.
Imagine the hell you'll cause for every other content piece.
In a game that is built with band-aids, this is a band-aid on top of 1,000 band-aids, and this would...
This is a straitjacket on top of a band-aid.
Right. Yeah.
God, what a poor person.
I appreciate that regardless of our rationale, this issue has been a source of frustration for many, and I apologize for that. I hope, however, that this has helped clarify our approach. Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's, again, it could have been boiled down to we had a problem, we didn't balance the fight correctly. We had the option, balance the jobs for a temporary fix, which, I mean, it's bad. We understand that. Having to balance all the jobs in a very short time window for one fight, or just /1% HP off. I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
It makes
sense.
It's
fine. It doesn't matter.
But maybe you shouldn't have done it at all because it was cleared. I don't know.
Exactly.
And eventually the gear catch-up would fix it, and then over time you could just do an overall
people probably
balance.
wouldn't have complained at all, and then whatever.
It definitely feels like the correct move here would have been to do nothing.
Yeah.
And probably say nothing. The problem kind of fixed itself because we'll have the imbalances with hardcore, world first, week 1, week 2 raiders.
Yeah.
Having to pick meta jobs or whatever. But aside from that, I don't think anyone else cared that much.
No, there was a problem with go on, Gary.
The impression that I've also gotten is that this is a difference in how the Western community complains and how the Japanese community complains about issues like this. And this feels like it's more of a response to what the Japanese community has been saying on this particular issue. And that's why the Western community is so confused / annoyed about this.
Yeah. That's probably what's happened here.
We don't speak with one voice.
No.
In their eyes, I guess.
No. We've talked about this before, how they just they kind of toss us aside sometimes care for Japan.
It's the same reason that we don't have cross data center across global regions yet.
Yeah.
Because the Japanese community is worried we're going to ruin their economy.
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to go over there and we're going to ruin it.
Us filthy Westerners.
And onions for so cheap.
Yeah. I'm going to sell all my onions on your market.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. Okay, anyways, in conclusion, the adjustment to Abyssos, the 8th circle, was never intended to be a nerf, but merely the correction of values that were set inappropriately for a 4th stage Savage raid to begin with.
Well, that's a very roundabout way of avoiding to say nerf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in their eyes with their background in the testing, sure, but it doesn't matter. It was unnecessary.
Yeah. Yeah.
They've already just made a huge issue out of nothing.
If this was never... If they could have... I mean, someone would have noticed. It would have been on the subreddit immediately after the patch, I think. But if they just silently done this, it wouldn't have made such a fuzz. I think it would have been less of a deal. I think the wording of the patch notes was really what set it up for the West, at least the Western player base.
I think the wording is the issue, but I do think people would have realized. I don't think you can.
Oh yeah, no. I know they would have realized, but I don't think it would have ballooned into this big of an issue as it is right now. It would have been within the Savage raiding circle. They'd be like, oh my god, they cut off 1%. But now they put it in the patch notes. and it was kind of condescending the way it was worded.
Yeah.
I think you're underestimating how much people will react to it if they did this without mentioning it. But I do agree that the wording is the biggest issue.
Yeah, because
it's not the root problem anyway. The 1%.
No.
Like chat says, many classes have been underperforming for a while. From what I've read, Machinist has been underperforming for about 4 or 5 years.
We know that, yeah. Okay, dude. Machinist
genuinely, people have been.
I know. Machinist
has been the underdog since like the Stormblood change or something like.
But hey,
it's supposed to be the selfish DPS of the ranged physical, and yet it doesn't seem to be that way. Yes, Rollo?
Yeah.
Hey, my numbers might be bad as a Machinist, but at least it feels good to play now. That was an important
PvP,
part.
dude. Oh my god.
Yeah, Machinist has been a troublesome. I mean, just look at all the changes that it's gone through, and they still haven't figured out what to do with it.
Yeah.
So
number go down.
Yeah.
Bring back the Heavens would open it, guys. I need my 27 button opener.
Awful.
God, that was so awful.
Yeah. Okay, moving on, or continuing. Nevertheless, I understand that it feels like a nerf for those who worked hard and were on the verge of clearing the fight as it was originally implemented, and I regret having caused such disappointment. Now, this is the one that
I regret having done anything.
What a...
I'm sorry, I just wish I hadn't, is what he's saying.
Yeah.
Are there that many raid groups that would be annoyed about the fact that they were so close and now they can easily clear it?
Like, I doubt it.
Well, I mean, the thing is, now there's gonna be that, like, you wouldn't have cleared it if your Shippy had nerfed it. You do know what I mean?
That's fair.
That's gonna be the stigma that they have now, which is sad for them, I guess. But it is what it is, you know. Move on. You cleared it, you know.
Exactly. It doesn't really matter.
No. Although, would it maybe have been better if they nerfed? Now, whether this was a regular patch, wasn't it? So this wasn't like a patch that was brought up because of the issue with Savage. So there's no way they couldn't have won. There's no way to win here, I think.
How do you hardcore raiders here feel about the nerf? Yeah, P8S yet?
I mean, just speaking from our raid group's perspective, Rollo, we'd already cleared it before this happened. So the fact that we're able to farm it, you know, much more quickly now is just, it's a boon.
Yeah, it just makes it easier for you guys to prep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I can see is like the people that were like about to clear it and then they nerfed it and then they cleared it immediately after. That feels a little bad, you know, because you kind of feel like, oh, we cleared it because they nerfed it. That'll pass. There's going to be a new tier in 6 months' time.
Exactly, and the fight's going to still be hard.
Yeah.
Now, if this was Ultimate, I think this would have been
a disaster.
If this was Ultimate, I don't think they would have made the adjustment.
No, they would have just been like, let's not touch it. Yeah.
You can't do that to Ultimate.
Yeah.
Someone would have been
Yeah.
If this was Ultimate and people had already cleared it, they'd be like, okay, people can clear it, we don't care.
Yeah. Also, a good point is that gear catch-up would have made that 1%
exactly
as well. So
I don't think it doesn't matter if I don't think there are many people who are like want to gatekeep the fact that it is easier now.
No,
it's only easier by 1%, and it's still going to be a hard fight.
Yeah. And
if you've already cleared it once, you know what you're doing now.
Yes.
You'll be able to keep clearing it.
You have it on farm, so it doesn't. Yeah, it's fine.
The time when it's fun to raid is the time when you're figuring out the mechanics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
Before you get fed up and have to watch.
When you're on that 1%, you know you have done all the mechanics. You're just on the burn phase. Really matter. So yeah. As we strongly wish you to continue enjoying fiercely challenging Savage fights, particularly in the early days after release, we will do our utmost to further improve the tuning of these battles. Furthermore, we will strive to better understand what our players think about such issues and improve our operational protocols, perhaps by waiting a week before implementing fixes. In addition to providing details on our perspective, so that if we again find ourselves in a similar situation, we may arrive at a solution that is more satisfying to everyone. At the risk of sounding like a broken record, I sincerely apologize for any disruption that our error may have caused to your gameplay experience and appreciate your patience. Naoki Yoshida. So there it is.
Yeah. Just don't do it again. Like don't adjust it again.
Yeah.
I
if
think
you
it's
fuck
the
up,
best option.
unless it's like, oh, we have made it impossible to clear. I mean, remember, this is throughout this, I've just been thinking about Twintania's original Twisters and how long they sat there and was
Every
like,
single time.
no, but
Yeah.
think about it. Back then, they were like, no one's clearing it. They're like, it's been 2 months. People are complaining about the Twisters. What are we gonna do? Say that there's nothing wrong with them and that they're just bad. And then someone
It's
cleared it. And it's
true.
like, congratulations, you've cleared it. Now we're
They
gonna
were
nerf
just
them.
bad.
Well, they also had no point of reference at that point in the game.
Yeah,
No,
it was
that's
a
true.
it was a
But-
more innocent time. But
Yeah.
like there are other mechanics, like you remember the woke mechanic, which sadly got ruined.
That
But-
data mine, wasn't it?
The idea of that was great because people were clearing and they were getting really far in the fight, and then we're dying. Why do we keep dying?
Mm-hmm.
And if data miners hadn't ruined that whole tier, that would have been that could have taken so long to figure out.
Yeah.
It would have been so much cooler. So
Yeah.
I like it when they do things like that, and I feel like this is unprecedented and also
Yes.
unrequired.
It almost
little
feels like they were
note.
a little. That's why I brought up the Twister thing, because with the Twister thing, they were like, they sat there and they like analyzed clearly. I mean, obviously, this was their first raid, so they were just essentially just watching and reading reactions. And the community decided that there was something wrong with the Twisters and they had to be nerfed. And then when someone cleared it, they were like, okay, someone has cleared it now. They've proven our point. Let's nerf it. Which unfortunately came with the result of that was that the community that then watched others clear it was like, but the first group must have cheated because it was impossible before the nerf. So Yoshida had to like prove that it was legitimate, and I think that started the whole tradition with him like confirming the clears afterwards. But anyways, this time they were perhaps a little too quick with their fix. So like, oh god, we fucked up here. Let's fix it immediately.
Yeah.
I feel like because the Twisters is the only thing that I can think of, or maybe Alex.
Well, yeah, it was Pepsi Man.
Pepsi Man was another situation where they
The static killer.
the static killer, yeah.
And
it was.
they were fine with leaving that around for ages. Yet this guy, the moment their internal team spent an extra week playtesting it, like surely the internal testing teams got very good at the game if they keep internally testing every Savage fight.
Yeah, Pepsi.
Anyway.
I mean, is Pepsi Man the last one, or which?
It was the third one.
Oh yeah,
Pepsi Man was the third one. The last one was just difficult.
Yeah, that one had a that too. That whole tier had a lot of tuning issues in general.
Yeah, but do you not think, in some respects, the fact that, like, don't you think the last Savage one should require some gearing?
No, I agree. I agree that
lengthen the tier.
I
mean, it's a bit artificial.
Oh, you mean like
I mean,
actual like gear gating, like eye level
I
gating?
mean, it does. I agree that it should
Maybe.
require gear mailer, but like remember that these. I would assume the battle team, the developers' battle team, is using the best gear that we don't have access to straight away,
Right.
and they're already adjusting for that. They can't adjust for it too much because, like, if you adjust it too highly, then they don't know if they've just like made it impossible
Right.
until
No, he
after
said
people
that
are
they
clear.
use appropriate item level gear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
appropriate.
presumably that's
So-
what's available at the launch of the tier rather than the end of the
That's not what I took it as.
No, I think they take into consideration that time will progress.
Oh, so they were using later. Okay.
I mean, maybe
could
for
be
the
clearer
first
on
fight
that.
they'll have like base tome gear, like that would be the appropriate level for the first tier, I would assume. But as you've made it to the last one, you have already acquired raid gear, probably.
That's
you already...
true. You'd have got some drops.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be ninjaing them all anyway, but
And you had a whole. This time you had a whole extra week to get gear.
Yeah.
yeah, that's also true.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So you can just argue whether or not which approach is better, what they did this time or what they didn't do during the static killer era, because they just sat there and watched as statics just dissolved. There was so many.
The game almost broke.
That was crazy. I remember just seeing people like lamenting in Idleshire that their static had they were looking for a new static, please. Well, it was crazy.
And it was still I understand that it was the first expansion, but they were still kind of new to that, and I feel like seeing that has resulted in this.
That's what I think too.
It was the first modern style of raid.
I think they eyed that and was like, this could be another one of those static killer moments, so we need to act fast before it has a chance to do that. Whatever. It has happened. What's done is done.
Well, exactly. You can't change it now. It's done. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They would have the information saying how did this affect actual player numbers? If they saw that it was a pretty negative effect, then they definitely would have wanted to react to this in this way.
Yeah. All right, well, there you go. That's patch 6.21. Hate it or... I don't think anyone loves the change, but hate it or accept it. It has happened. Now we have to live with it.
If you beat it before or after, you're still a winner in my heart.
Right,
so
right.
Yeah.
You're all equal in my eyes.
Yes, right. Okay, we'll quickly get
all wear the same gear at the end of the day, hey?
Right,
True.
right. All right, let's read some MogMail. This is from Kamadani from Durandal. That's JP, isn't it?
Excuse me, where?
In this MogMail, I want to discuss my ideas about when the MSQ is headed. Sorry, where I'm assuming where the MSQ is headed after 6.2. So if you haven't finished it yet, please don't read any further. Don't worry, we've done it.
When was this submitted?
This is not that old.
Also, I like the opening sentence because it reads like a thesis premise.
Right.
For a university thesis.
Someone's thesis we're reading.
Using a certain formula. I like
Yeah. I have seen the theory online that Zero is going to wind up being the big bad behind everything, and we will have to fight her. I think there is something to this for a number of reasons. First, her name is like Zeramus, the big bad, or God, what is the other way to pronouncing it? Zeramus.
Zeramus?
Yeah. The big bad at the end of 4 who was controlling everything from the core of the moon. Spoilers for 4.
Spoilers for our 4 playthrough. I like that there was a spoiler warning for the MSQ.
There are a few interactions between her and Y'shtola where she seems off. Also, when we first change her from the form of Xenos' Void Sent to her humanoid form, it is after exposing her to the crystal the Warrior of Light was left on Hydaelyn. In the final battle for 4... From Hydaelyn, sorry. In the final battle for 4, Cecil has to use the crystal on...
God!
Yeah, I'm sorry. You have to use the crystal on Zemus to reveal his true form, Zeramus. This was what I was edging.
Let's just stop playing it.
This is what I was edging a few weeks ago when we were talking about this theory in the first time. I didn't want to say it, but here it is.
So, we were talking about this in the post-show as well.
Yeah. Furthermore, in connection to the above, my current hopeful theory for a big story twist is that Golbez is the shard of the Warrior of Light / Azam from the 13th. Oh, here we go with more spoilers. In the story for 4, Golbez is the brainwashed brother... I can't believe we're destroying the 4 playthrough. Brainwashed brother of Cecil, who ultimately joins the heroes... Did you send this, Rollo?
No.
The heroes to try... heroes to try and stop Samus. I don't think there is any way they can make some kind of family connection between Golbez and our Warrior of Light, but it would, in a similar vein to the big family reveal from 4, if he wound up being a piece of us that we ultimately have to join with, reabsorb, to defeat the big evil. What do you guys think? I love the podcast. It's the highlight of my Sunday mornings here in Japan. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, Camilla.
Bless you. I'm sure you weren't even aware that we were doing a 4 playthrough, so don't worry. But yeah.
Gosh, I don't want to talk anymore.
These guys are so devastated by that they don't even know what to say.
Well, the thing is that we're like,
Wow.
we're like halfway through the game, and we're about to get that like twist revealed. So it's
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Okay. Well, I already knew I knew about the ending of 4.
Oh yeah, I vaguely knew this information as well. I can see Golbez being our shard. I've actually never been really on the side that 0 is our shard from the 13th.
Right.
I feel like there's not enough talked about the fact that she was a horrendous, like, flesh monster, and then we just like cured her. I feel like, I mean,
Xenos
she was
did that
one
to
of
her.
these. How?
Well, he had a Ascian on his side, Mailer.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like we need more information on why she.
I mean,
it's a very unique look as well.
That's true. That is a very unique look. That is the only thing, because all of the Void Sun that we encounter have been like
they're all
transformed.
people.
Yeah.
But the fact is, she was one of these special, whatever they're called, crystal people.
Avatar. Oh no, sorry,
Memoriate.
Memoriates, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's unusual that she would turn into a monster, I feel.
So you think she
I
was
feel-
okay? Go on, Gigi.
I feel as if Zero turns into Zeramus, or in some way is related to Zeramus, I think that it will be. I feel like it will be more similar to the thing with Gaia, in the sense that like she'll be unwittingly made into an antagonist, and we might be able to save her afterwards.
Oh, not again.
No. Yeah, maybe. Well,
We tend not to kill if someone's our ally and like they get brainwashed. We very rarely actually kill them. I mean,
That's
look at
true.
Meteon.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, I
true.
wish we'd killed her.
That's true. But yeah.
Golbez as our shard person is an interesting, because why is he not a monster
Good question.
That's a good question.
in
Maybe
this
just a
world
big
of
man.
monsters?
Yeah. I mean,
Maybe Golbez is another half void scent like Zero.
well,
yeah,
yeah.
and he's
hold,
just not been
hold
summoned
on,
and
hold on.
meatified.
What are you saying? Do you not think Golbez is a monster? We haven't really
No.
look at it. He's got an unusual shape for a Hure.
Oh, he's just wide. He's like Xenos wide.
He is
he's just
very,
big.
very wide. But
All we
right.
know about him is that he is a very large humanoidish shape.
Right.
Yes.
Now, yeah, he could be a monster under the armor, fine. And I would rather him be,
Yeah.
because it doesn't make much sense for just one lad to be hanging
But
around.
look at Zande. He's a very large
Well,
humanoidish shape.
Sunday
He's a
is
huge
a
man.
monster clone, though. Like he is not.
But
that is
he-
not what Emperor.
Why would
Sunday
you
looks
clone
like.
someone
fine.
giant?
Look at Amon then.
Why is he so tall?
Well, he actually looks like Amon, though. Like that is Amon. I mean, he's just wearing like a mask. He's just.
But
huge.
he's very big.
He's
Yeah.
27 foot tall.
Yes, you can't bring that up because Crystal Tower was. They clearly didn't think that was going to be
What
a real
about
character. back then.
Glacial bowlers?
They're monsters. They are monsters though in the lore. Like they were like.
Yeah, they were gigantified.
Yeah. The Amon we fight also. Yeah, that is that's not actually Amon we're fighting, right?
but
They're all
why
clones
would you
in
clone
there.
someone and make them?
Well, no,
massive?
they're not
It's
all
the weird
clones.
choice.
Amon is a clone. We learned that when they try to explain why we fight Amon in the Crystal Tower. Remember when they added that little bit at the end of?
Okay,
Mikhail.
fine, Mailer. Here we go. Phlegathon. Phlegathon is just a brainwashed person, like resistance fighter.
You're talking about Labyrinth of the
He's big.
Ancient in a Realm Reborn lore.
It's
Like-
a void sent
We're
quest line.
justifying how big he is, how big Golbez
Doesn't
is.
Golbez have like one eye?
So did Regulus von Hydrus.
What? Did Regulus von Hydrus only have one eye?
Yeah. In his mask.
Oh, in his
does, yeah.
mask. I see.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I see. That's a helmet, though. I think, but
I think Golbez is a helmet, isn't it?
I don't think we're looking at his face.
okay. So
Golbez
your
is fully
your
masked,
take
isn't
is
he?
that that Golbez is just a little thick here. Or an Ellison. Or a Roe.
I don't know. I think it's underestimating to say he's a little thick. I think he's very thick.
Okay, he's super thick.
Golbez.
Juicy thick.
Golbez is about the same build as
I don't understand your regular thing. I don't quite get it. I think his eyes are actually in the light thing that you see there, but
yeah, whatever. It was just I don't think Golbez. I think that's his mask anyway. I'm just saying there are masked people with one eye.
Okay.
But Golbez is about like Varys build.
Oh yeah, Varys
is.
He's a bit bigger than Varys, I would say.
Yeah, but he's like there are some people who are just big in this world, but they're human. Like Gorsetsu is a huge Hyur.
No, he's not. He's actually. They've said that he's
like a Rogadin clan then, but he's still a huge man.
Yeah,
there are big men in this game.
That's true.
I just feel like I just don't think he's a void scent, like monster.
Okay.
I mean, maybe.
I don't have enough proof to.
I think he's at least partially void scent. I don't think he's completely non-void.
I don't have enough information to like.
Non-void scent.
I don't have enough information to theorize either of them.
He's a big man.
He is big.
That is for sure.
That is for sure. He's unusually thick.
Strong.
Yeah.
He's stronger than anyone else for some reason.
Yeah. Well, I think Kamidani is on to something. This is essentially what we've talked about a couple of episodes back. Was that a post-show discussion or was it a MogMail?
No, I think it was a MogMail.
Okay. So, yeah.
How about this though?
Okay.
So Mailer and I have been making comparisons between Golbez and the people in the Crystal Tower raid. What if he was a clone from the Crystal Tower raid and he got sent into the void and he's been planning something ever since then?
Not impossible, considering...
Not a bad theory.
And he just randomly kills an ancient, I guess, still.
Yeah.
He could have gone through
what if he's
at the same time as Asdaya.
Yeah, he could have.
Yeah.
And that also explains his interest in her and that he has her captured.
I don't know
why.
Explain
why he understands what Asdaya is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How does he know so much about dragons?
Yeah.
They've never seen one.
Mm-hmm.
No one there has. They don't exist in that sphere, we assume.
Do we have an answer how long the void has been fucked up in terms of their time?
Since before the Fort. In terms of the void's time?
I don't know.
The void has been bad and full of void scent, which are the bad... Like, they're the calamitous end product.
Yeah, they are... I believe they were the first one... The first shard affected, so that was before even the first calamity.
That was like their test.
Was their trial.
Yeah.
But the question... But then again, we can't necessarily use that as a reference point for how long it's been in the void because of the timey-wimey nonsense
Yeah.
Differences in time between
we don't know how
shards.
long it's been on
but
the
no
void.
one can remember. They talk about the Contra Memoria War.
Yes.
But no one can remember.
Zero does.
Yeah, Zero does.
True.
Yeah. Anyways, we need to wrap this MogMail up, but thank you, Kamidani. Good theories. Don't worry about the spoilers. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's a 30-year-old game. I think it's okay.
We're playing it up. Don't feel bad.
No.
Mailer might not be. But
Mailer might not be.
Oh, of course I am. I don't.
Mailer's actually really super upset, and he will contact you. He will be in contact. Right. Okay, thank you for MogMail. Send us more MogMail at speakersxavier.com/MogMail. Now let's talk about the role quests. We're going to talk about the DPS role quests. So spoiler warning for the melee, ranged, and magic. Sorry.
All right.
We need to get that bunk on this new screen.
Oh yeah, we do need the bonk. I need to get that.
Oh yeah,
I need to get that for the next patch.
Yeah, spoilers for like 10-month old content.
Yeah. This is
almost a year.
Yeah, this is old content now, so we shouldn't need to bonk here. But some might not have done them. I mean, maybe you forgot. No. Easy to forget because they don't really remind you to ever do them again.
They're not just easy. They're not just easy to do, but very forgettable.
Right.
Also, it depends on how many jobs you level. Not everyone levels every single job.
Yeah. I think they're quite prohibitive
Mhm.
in that respect.
Yeah. Okay, so I've sort of balanced them a little. I think we should start with the melee one, have ranged in the middle, because that's my least favorite, just to sandwich that in between and then finish with the magic.
Okay.
Let's
So
start.
Limsa first.
Let's start with Limsa. We're not gonna just we're not gonna just read the story. Don't worry. We're
gonna sum it up.
Sum it up. So Sahagin. This is like Sahagin themed, kind of. Also Merlwyb, obviously.
Yeah, the Sahagin faction rises.
Yes. What are they called? The Shoal? No, there's like a faction.
They have.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know.
I
I'm
don't
sorry.
remember
Don't ask me the name.
Don't go down here. But basically, there's one called like.
I did this 8 months ago.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
They're
There's a
called
nice one.
something Shoal or Shore or
The
something.
Coral Shoal Walkers or something.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
They're bad and they worship the blasphemy.
Well, they are supposedly on the Queen's side. At least that's how it's being introduced at first. It's like they don't like
the Sahagin Queen.
Yeah, the Sahagin Queen. They don't like the shore walkers, as they call us.
Yeah. That's what they call us, yeah.
But there's trouble because the horrible blasphemy has been spotted in their territory.
Yeah.
And it's threatening, obviously, Lominsan land. And them, because Limsa is starting to have actual diplomatic relations with the Sahagin, which is a big step for them. And Merlwyb wants this to like be a big thing.
Go away.
Yeah. Well, she wants the blasphemy to go away, but she also wants to have more relations with the Sahagin, like completely. She essentially wants to integrate them. Into their society, essentially.
Limsa have been pretty bad, so.
Yes, they have we've talked about this before. They have a bad history.
But I'd also say they're probably the best.
Yes.
They're probably the best with, like, beast tribes, sadly.
Yes.
Considering they actually let them into their city.
Yes.
True. Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, the Limsa Lominsis path is stained in blood, and mostly their blood. I will say,
like
though...
their banner.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But I will say the Sahagin here are kind of the invaders. They are invaders to Lominsan land.
These ones aren't particularly. Well, yeah, they're supposed to be us in this metaphor.
Yeah. They came to Lenosha and expelled Lominsans essentially from Halfstone and killed a lot.
They drowned them.
They drowned them.
That is true, but that was just because of the calamity. It forced them onto the land.
Yeah,
well,
they didn't. Yeah, they didn't do it, but
they wouldn't have wanted to, but they had to make do.
This is your land?
Yeah.
This is our land now.
But essentially, it was just payback to Lims as like, that's how it feels. I see.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
Nog, or whatever he's called, is the good Sahagin.
Right.
He's trying to keep it all together. You have a few scuffles.
Mm-hmm.
The main crux and the reason why this job quest is so good is you have to reform a certain band of heroes.
Yeah.
Oh my god, this was so cool.
Yeah, you essentially reassemble the company of heroes because
all the lads,
this weird
and
faction,
lasses.
this Queen faction wants to bring Leviathan back.
Yeah.
And also, I think there's a point where we have an encounter with the priest, and one of his like followers turns into a blasphemy.
Yeah.
Or not a blasphemy. Do they call the lesser ones aren't called blasphemies, are they? Or is that just a colloquial term for all of them?
I don't know if we ever came up with a term for like lesser blasphemies.
Okay, let's just call them blasphemies.
They all are
for
blasphemers in the eyes of the 12.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So one of them turns, and then he's like, "Oh, that's really cool. We can use
that's useful.
That's very useful for my purposes." Yeah, so you kind of already understand from that point that, okay, he's gonna do some really bad shit now. And he does. We'll get to that, though, but we bring the company of heroes together. That's fun. We get to meet Brayflocks, Rogadin Man, I don't remember their names. I only remember what they did.
I remember Lamani Shamani. I remember Brayflocks. I remember
Funny Ellison, man.
There's an Ellison who's
tribe man.
Tribe who speaks like the old, like the Mithra way of speaking because he's an old character.
The only that's the only Makode tribe that speaks like that, and not even everyone from his tribe speaks like that.
Right.
I like that though. It's a nice little.
Yeah, it's nice.
Landonell is the Ellison. Yeah.
Right, the bloodthirsty.
Yeah, he's in the God's Quiver now, whatever the God's Bow.
The Wood Whalers.
The Wood Whalers.
Yeah.
They're all. I like it. They've all got backstory. They're all real characters in the lore. They're all cool. We give them all tasks that they're best suited to.
It's very easy, but I kind of like that little touch.
It's cute. It's like, did you pay attention to what these characters are good at?
Yeah.
Did you pay attention that the Lalafell is blind?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And then so at one point we go. I think this is when like the evil Sahagin priests we first encounter them. And they have one of the Sahagin turned into a lesser blasphemy. And we were like, oh, this is a bit much. This is more than we expected. But that's when the lad from Merweb's former crew comes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Her essentially her brother.
Yes.
Raised as a brother, essentially, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Forget his name.
Mr. Sniper Man.
It's been a while, but when you fight the blasphemy.
Yeah.
A cool thing about him is that as of the start of this expansion, if you went to Costa del Sol, he would have been there. And if you talked to him, he said, now is not the time for us to meet yet.
Right.
Yeah, it's so weird because he's wearing like Endwalker gear.
That's a nice touch.
Yeah, he's on the beach in Costa del Sol, and then afterwards, it still doesn't have his actual name. If you go talk to him, he's still there, but he will say, "Who are you?" We don't know each other,
Lawrence.
Because remember at the end, he's Lawrence, yeah. Because at the end, he's like, this is a temporary thing. We don't know each other anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice little recap, by the way, for that. Was it Tales from the Calamity?
Oh yeah,
where the
her father
turned into a monster. Yeah.
But the whole story is really. I think this out of the three is my favorite. Because it's Merweb and I love Merweb, but also her story is so badass, just in general.
I think the cast of characters is also probably one of the more enjoyable ones.
Also, Company of Heroes, seeing them again.
Well, it's very A Realm Reborn.
It is,
and even before, it's it's even
1.0
got 1.0
as well.
connection, so it brings you back home.
Yeah. So what's interesting in this is that it's sort of when they talk about Merweb's, she had to kill her father because he turned
into a
reaver, essentially, like
he
was brain.
He became a drowned.
The drowned. Yeah, that's it.
And so she had to shoot him, and it's interesting because the way the story ends is her essentially killing a mother. As well, and she even refers to her as such. So I feel like they were mirroring sort of the moment that she has been through before. She was doing it again. But yeah, we're getting ahead. But that's the thing with the priest, is that he does the unthinkable. He turns his own queen and mother into a blasphemy. As like and she's about, because she's actually ready. Like when someone runs up to her and is like, oh, they wanted to, like the shore walkers want to like talk to us, they want to trade with us and all that. And she's like, that might actually be a good idea if that's true. And then the priest is like feeding her.
He thinks he's gonna lose grasp on his power, I guess.
And I guess she just trusts this priest. I mean, most rulers do, I guess. But it's like she's like, oh no.
I like to think that it's a very how to say, abridged conversation.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, we're seeing kind of an abridged version of it just to get the vibe.
Yeah.
But it does just feel like, they're talking. It's like, remember the time they killed us?
Yeah.
You're right.
And then she's like, oh no! Oh,
Yeah.
There's
I'm
a lot of that
turning!
across all these. There's a lot of that across these job quests of like, remember the time when?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh fuck! I'm despaired now.
Yeah. We get that in an echo flashback, by the way, when we see the monster. But
I think there's an echo
Yeah.
flashback in all of these.
yeah, there is. Well,
Yeah,
all of
we
these
get- that's how we get
stories
the
are
backstory.
built the same way. You
They
kind
are.
of when you. I did them back to back, like I think guess all of you did, but you see it very clearly when you do that.
And I like how they give you more information about all of the city states because this is what we've been asking for.
Yes. Oh yeah, I loved it. I love the
Yeah.
fleshing out and also seeing progress in like just stuff that they never talk about anymore, like the Sahagin relations. We've seen the kobolds, the Sahagins, which is kind of
Because that was part of the MSQ.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
Yeah.
And we got
Cleaning
to
up some of the.
and it was also sort of resolving Merlewebb's storyline, ending on a. I mean, the Company of Heroes disbands, but it ends on a very interesting note, which we have talked about a lot on this podcast, and that's when is Merleweb stepping down? And they specifically pointed out at the end multiple times when Lawrence is leaving. He's like, maybe you need to retire soon. Maybe it's time for you to take a break. She's like, well, I got so much to do. And then there's a moment where she looks up in the sky and she like talks to her father and it's like, okay, one day I will step down when my work here is done.
Hey, mate, think about this, Lakil. I'm going to offer you something that it's going to be really disappointing because it's not going to come true. What if Melweeb in the next expansion when we go to Meracidia is part of our party?
Mm.
Oh my god,
crazy!
And that's her chance to abdicate.
That would be crazy. I don't think she can abdicate. I think she just resigns, right? I think.
Well, no, you just hold a new trident.
Right.
Maybe
right.
let's try a peaceful transition of power this time.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Maybe I think Merle would be the kind of woman who would be like, let's introduce elections to Limsa. Let's try that.
We have a lot of experience introducing elections.
Right, exactly. We could be like, yeah, we have some experience. We might be able to help out. Yeah.
I feel like they often, if they do something to one city state of the first three at least, I feel like they have to try and do it for all of them. But I don't think they should go down like Raoban escaped at least.
Yes.
It would be fine for Merleweb to step down and for someone new because they can fit it into the MSQ. The cutscenes can include her in the early ones and then the new person in the later ones.
Yeah, I mean, you never see the city-state leaders anyways, like in the overworld. It doesn't really...
It's fine too. And I would like them to, just progress characters in this game more. They're too static.
But that's why I'm so excited about these quests is that they're doing that in these. Like, they're actually giving them development now. And it also is kind of implied that they will pick up on this maybe later again. Like, this isn't the last time we're going to deal with these characters in this way. But yeah, overall great story. We saw Sahagin progression. We saw some development in Merleweb
and her family relations.
We got some nostalgia from the Company of Heroes.
Yeah. I think one thing we probably won't talk that much about all of the final fights for all of these because to be honest, I don't remember them. But one thing I did like there are two things actually I liked about the melee quest. One is that I liked there were mechanics where you had to specifically attack things from certain angles.
Oh yeah,
I liked that.
Yeah,
because I liked that was involved.
First time I did it, I was so confused.
Melee mechanic specifically.
Yeah, I was so confused the first time that I kept dying. I'm like, what the fuck?
I'm surprised that you were confused.
I wasn't reading anything. I wasn't reading what they were saying.
That makes perfect sense because they do tell you.
Yeah, I know. It was when I read the chat, I'm like, I see. I'm an idiot.
And the other thing I like is that it brings back Merlib saying, "You're in my sights," which I love.
Yes.
Oh,
right.
Keep using that one for a little while.
What job did we use for this? I used Dragoon.
Yeah, Dragoon. I think for me as well.
I went as a Reaper.
I think I went as a Reaper as well. Yeah, no, Reaper. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was funny because I had the scythe that has like a chainsaw sound, and there's one point where I draw it out and it just goes boom, boom, in the cutscene.
The fucking Scavian scythe.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on then. Great, that was a great quest line.
We like is good.
Yeah. Now
Yeah.
to Doma, the ranged quest.
Doma.
Doma. So this one,
I decided to do this last.
essentially,
Oh, bad choice.
Yeah, it was a bad choice.
you go and have a chat with Yugiri, and
I will say there are points that I like in the story, but yeah.
Not a lot happens for about 4 or 5 quests.
I know.
You just teleport.
I mean,
around
okay,
the world.
something happens. They introduce the different plots. So all of the quests have like A, B, and C plots. So there's Hien's story, there's Yugiri's story, and then there's the story of the turned person, right?
Yeah.
So
have quite a lot of characters.
There is
a fun assassination attempt too.
Yeah, that's quite dramatic.
Well, that was quite late.
The problem is that every supporting character in this, other than the main characters, the supporting characters are shit.
Yeah, I kind of agree. There's like a fucking cold read, like psychic, like medium
she
lady.
was great, Lily Bendriss.
Lily Bendriss there.
Basically, there's a young boy whose brother has turned, and you kill him, and then he blames Hien.
Yeah.
Then you find word of Lily Bendriss in.
Okay, no one's gonna get. That's the lady that talks to the dead, quote unquote. She does not.
Mystic
Spoilers.
Meg. That's more global.
Yeah, there you go.
And she can talk to the dead.
Well, she claims she can talk to the dead.
She says a couple of things you could probably find out about someone, and he believes it.
Yeah, it's just the vaguest thing. She's like, do you still put up the fishnets like I told you or whatever? Something like that.
Father, I do.
Yeah.
And
well, we learn that she...
They're upset about Yotsuyu.
So they're dealing... Yeah, so Hien's like battle in this... Like his story here is him dealing with the fact that he didn't punish Yotsuyu enough in the eyes of the people, because she survived, even though she died. But it's not his fault that she came back, but it was the fact that he didn't punish her when she came back. That's the thing that really
essentially a new person,
which I kind of
his eyes.
It's an interesting situation, I guess, because I don't know how I would feel if I were in their shoes, right? This horrible person that has ruled over them came back, and the king is like, "You're fine."
If you didn't know, it just looks like she's back.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And she just got a new life.
Someone was like, no, that's someone. She lost her memory.
Yeah.
Well, I think I could compartmentalize them as two different people, but I understand that it would be really, really difficult to explain to a large number of people that essentially she's not the same person as she was before.
Because they weren't there.
Exactly.
No.
They've just lived under this horrible imperial rule, and their viceroy just comes back, and your king is like, no, she good now. I mean, she's fine. She'll live.
We saw what she did to Asari, which is the village that most of this quest take place in.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it is the aftermath
She forced people to kill their parents because they were useless.
Yes. Yes. So this is where we learn that the blasphemy is also the daughter of the media lady.
Yes, adopted daughter.
What caused her? What was her despair that caused her to transform? Was it the death of the?
It was the death of
everyone
in her family. So
there was also the anger of the people that in the prisoner exchange. Remember that there was a prisoner exchange, and those people lived, but it was unfair because they got to live while the others died. That's sort of a thing that was big thing.
She lost everyone. I think there was the final straw.
Yeah.
Was her husband or whatever. And
yes.
Then she turned into
flying spaghetti lady.
Spaghetti lady. Yeah.
And now it kind of goes into a little bit of this is where the story is a little paddy, I feel like, where there's this, I don't even remember, and I did it today.
You have to basically you can't find the blasphemy for a bit, and they set out a Confederate net, the Confederate pirate people.
Yes.
To keep an eye, and they spot her near, I think it's called Shoal Rock.
Yes, Shoal Rock.
Like northeast Ruby Sea. But you run up to the blasphemy and you get your sword out, and she runs away. She's scared of weapons.
Yes, she's scared of weapons.
Well, that's why that's the justification for why this is a ranged quest. It's like, oh, she's too scared to get nearby, so you have to attack her at a distance.
Yeah.
But she goes too far. Anyway, you go home yet again, and the best boy ever turns up.
Yeah, that's a big moment.
Oh,
It's Gosetsu comes back, but yeah,
Bald. God, he's so bald.
yeah, we love a bald queen. Go on, Georgi.
Before we get to that, I know there's a part where we're in Suino Sato with Yugiri, and like we talk to Yugiri's parents.
That
and,
is true. We do reconnaissance.
I could not tell you. I can't tell you anything about why we were there. Can you please explain it to me?
I think we're just
Mystic Meg came from Suino Sato.
Yes.
So
and we go with Yugiri. She's been banished.
She was banished.
So she has to disguise herself as just a shinobi.
Yes.
You go there, talk to people. You find out the person who had the biggest connection is her mum.
Yes.
So you go and talk to them. You find out that she used to be a priestess there. And as soon as they said that she could talk to the dead, she went to speak to the Ruby Princess, who got angry and banished her.
Yes.
And then there's a cute moment when Yotsu's parents say that they love her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yugiri's parents.
Yeah.
Yugiri's parents.
Yeah.
And they're like, if you know Yugiri Mistwalker, tell her we love her. It's cute.
It's a cute moment.
And then you talk to Gosetsu, and he's the best.
Yeah, Gosetsu comes back, and he's being a little weird. Well, this is the moment. This is a big moment when Gosetsu comes back. He comes back specifically when can I just say, every time there's like a meeting of the Domans, it always looks like there's only like 10 people ever living in Doma.
Don't forget the dog man.
Yeah,
to be honest, it always feels like a meeting of the Second Life crowd.
Yes. Yeah. I agree.
They're very generic people over there. Sadly.
Yeah. Well, as the medium lady comes in and she's like, we've talked a little in the village here, and we've decided that we're going to ask you to kill all the prisoners that were sent from the prisoner exchange because of all the others that didn't survive. So it's unfair that they're alive. And he's like, I'm sorry. What? You absolute idiot!
He just refuses them immediately.
So he refuses them, and then that's when we get Gosetsu coming to the rescue, and he's like, I have a note for you, old. No, for the lady. No, for the dude
whose father she spoke to. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, I'm fine. I'm gonna make a full recovery. He was just injured. And of course, her whole story then falls apart, and
she's
they dismiss her.
A fraud.
Yeah. And she's like, my daughter will fuck you up, is what she says.
Yeah, she goes to the Swallow's Compass for some reason. I don't.
Well, okay, the Swallows. So this is the Paddy part again, where he's like,
no, this was the best bit.
Well, you're talking about the.
It has to be 5 quests, okay? It has to be 5 every time.
No, I agree with that, but like
you have to go to the people.
The Doman part of this, the lore part, was that they're gonna just we'll have a global like collective funeral to say goodbye to these people, and we can move on.
But of course, we have to talk to everyone.
We're going to bring your most important artifact from your loved one to the Royal Mausoleum.
Now the idea is
Mausoleum.
Yeah, that's nice.
Swallows come. So this is where only nobility can go normally.
The only good moment is when we go to the tree, the Heian's little tree, to find the little monkey. Yeah.
I don't know why he has a little.
Because he has unresolved things with his father, obviously.
He hasn't really had like personal belongings since he was forced into exile, Mailer. That's probably one of the last things he had from his childhood,
right?
Or from anything related to his family line.
So we kind of learn.
He also hasn't had time to grieve.
Right, he has. It's kind of dark. Heian's story is a little
24.
Dark. Yes.
Aww.
Yes. So we assemble. We get to Swallow's Compass. We're preparing for the funeral, and then the old lady comes back and she's like, "Oh no, I'm so sorry, my king." And then she tries to kill him, and then
Yugiri kills her.
Yeah. And then she's like, haha, you fell into my trap. My daughter will kill you. Will fuck you up now. And then she does the blood mouth, and then she dies. And then her daughter comes, and we fight her.
Yeah. And then we die.
Gosetsu's a healer now.
Yeah, that's where
Gosetsu comes and saves. And this could have been, again, this could have been a really interesting thing because he uses like ninja
Geomancy.
magic.
Yes.
Yeah, geomancy. It's kind of like this fusion.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll never get it because he's just using a white mage cane. He's just doing white mage
Well,
stuff.
Well,
And
yeah,
never say
no,
never,
he
my
has
love,
some
because
cool
we've had
skills.
situations
Don't-
like this before.
I would say never say never, but this is the second instance of them showing geomancy in this form.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Previously, it appears like this in the Astrologian 60 to 70 quest, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I
So-
would like them to introduce geomancer
Yeah.
with a very like Eastern.
Remember-
flair, with a
remember
very,
that-
But
Like,
here's the thing,
Thancred-
Akil, I just think if Geomancer's introduced, it's going to steal all your elemental
Yeah, I
skills,
know.
all your
I know.
white mage elemental skills.
Well, I don't have many left really at high level. They might just
You have
convert everything.
Aquaville.
That's true. They gave me
That's
one.
going away.
Yeah, they'll call it
what
like
if they turn
Holy
stone
Veil.
into a
Light
healing
Veil.
spell?
yeah, light veil. What is it,
why
Mela?
what if they make stone into a healing spell for them? They just get a
I
massive.
mean, he
boulder
doesn't even
fall on
have
them.
stone anymore.
No, don't
For
really.
Geomancer,
Yeah.
they could have like all. They could
This-
have all
This
the
is a
elements.
discussion that we don't have time for. we
no.
can have a big geomancer discussion later.
That was the biggest, one of
Yeah.
the biggest parts of this role quest.
Yes.
Nothing else happened.
It was
They
nice seeing
celebrate.
Yosetsu.
They have the funeral. It was
Mhm.
nice. Everyone's sort of over it now.
Yes.
And then everyone clapped.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like the ending more in retrospect because I just remember the whole part up to it because I remember not liking much of the middle part of this quest
Yeah,
line.
Mhm.
it's meandering. It's okay.
Yeah.
It had too much teleport. Talk to someone for a little bit.
It
Teleport
did.
And the
back.
I agree.
areas are so annoying because he's always like at the
Yeah.
far edge of the map and you have to fly
Well,
over.
because most of it's in the Ruby Sea, which is a
Yeah.
really
Horrible
annoying
place.
zone to
Yeah.
move around.
Yeah. Okay. So let's move on to magic, which I also thought was very interesting. Another like question that I guess I've had with Ishgard is like how do you deal with a nation that was essentially it's like the
A theocracy?
yeah, theocracy. It's essentially if the papacy lost the pope and everything tied to it is just detached. Like, what do you do now? And what
Yeah.
happens to the people that worked with that? So that's essentially the core of the story.
Mm-hmm.
Is what is the Church of Ishgard, the Orthodox Church, now that it's been separated from the state and it doesn't have Thord or not Thordan. What's his actual title?
Archbishop. I guess.
Archbishop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when the Archbishop is no more. Of course, the big. So again, 3 plots. There's Emmerich.
Yeah.
There's the what's his like.
Artwarel.
Yeah, Artwarel, and then there's the person that turns, which
Yeah.
is very interesting. I think that's probably the most
The
interesting
person that turns is very strange.
Yeah.
I thought this was the most like weird.
It is
like,
weird, but I'm like, okay, they're trying to do something with the character
also-
here, so
If
yeah.
I might be misremembering, but I think all the quests are named after lyrics from Heaven, from Dragon's Song.
I was
Yeah.
thinking that because I didn't realize it until the very last quest because it has something like Heavensward in it, and that's why it caught my eye. I was like, that's oddly written. It's like a lyric line or something. Okay, so I'm trying to remember how it started. Oh, it's
Well, you
Artwarel.
see-
First one I did. So.
Oh,
But
I
We can
see.
all put on our glasses, and these specific glasses will have a Marxist lens on there. And that we finally learn the truth that, in fact, religion is the opiate of the masses.
No, I think
And that people are having a bad time with the church
Yeah.
ever since.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. I think it's quite nuanced because I thought it was going to be very slanted to like.
No, it is.
the-
It
I think
shows
this is-
every side of it.
Yeah,
We need to finish the Scholastica questline, Nikhil, because that goes into a lot of the same themes.
Oh, does
as this in a different way.
okay.
You do talk to the Scholastics a bit in this one, don't you? Because you're hanging around that
Yeah.
really beautiful
Yeah.
church.
Yes.
It's
You
just one of
you
my
get,
nice,
like-
the nicest places.
You would have got more out of this if you'd done the Scholastica questline first, because there are callbacks to it.
Well, we
That's
did
fair.
some of them. I recognized.
We did the first like quarter of it, Nikhil. We didn't do a lot of
it's
it.
very long. Anyways, I think
This
the
was my number one blasphemy. I'll say that. Profane Fafnir was the coolest.
Oh yeah, Profane Fafnir was really cool. I liked. It's the blue dragon.
Like a ghostly white dragon. It's so cool.
Yeah. So we hear, obviously, like in all the other quests, there is a blasphemy afoot. It is a dragon. It took shape within Ishgard, I think.
Yeah.
And it flew off. But the thing about this one is that it doesn't attack anyone. It just circles around above, and then his presence alone is enough to cause enough like distraught in people that they, or make them distraught so that they turn. So we need to figure out who it is and how to get rid of it, essentially. But also this is when because Emmerich is our guy and Arturel is our guy, I guess, as well. And we're sort of learning now that Ishgard is having a bit of a social meltdown in its like structure.
A real crisis of faith.
Literally.
Quite literally.
Yeah. Because the church used to be everything. That was the state. Now it is separate and it is lost. Everything they said was a lie. Well, most of it. We learned that it's a bit extreme. A lot of it was a lie. Like they were told a lie about the formation of their nation. It's you know the story of Heavensward. So God, where do we even go?
Well, essentially, we look for the blasphemy a little bit, and eventually we start interrogating some of the people that possibly might be related to the stumbling fella that became it. So we go to the Mr. Church house, and we see the new archbishop. I guess I don't know what his title is.
Oh yeah, was he the archbishop?
He's just a member of the clergy, I think. He might be a deacon.
Yeah, he's like essentially the new.
They called him Your Grace, so I just don't think they use Is it Archbishop? Really? Did they really keep that alive? That title?
No. He's just like the next title.
It's the one below.
And he's very nice. He's when because you also have to tail some people that left the city because they were seen as badmins for following the religion still or practicing.
That's very interesting, chat. I didn't realize that. So the character that turns into the blasphemy appears during the firmament quests.
He does.
Oh, interesting.
That's cool, but I wish I realized that at the time.
Yeah.
Never know. The biggest thing right now is that the Christ of Faith people don't know, or people are having issues that like what they believed isn't true anymore, and it kind of tied society together of fighting dragons and then protecting themselves from dragons. So that's what people are kind of lost about. Which I mean, you also eventually tail the blasphemy as well, and it runs away next to the little airship it came on. But I guess the most damning thing is the flashback echo we have right in front of the essentially the Archbishop man.
Chat, what is his title, chat, if you remember?
Is he not just a bishop in the game?
Is he just a bishop? No, but he refers to him as Your Grace, as if it's like an important member of the clergy. Does that?
Bishop's quite high up.
I know, but they're usually maybe he is just a bishop, or just
he's the oldest dude that's still around.
Yeah, he's a bishop. Let's just call him a bishop.
Yeah.
Because he invites you over to talk after you have some new info, and he runs away for a bit.
Yeah.
And then when you tell him, he's like, "Oh, I was just..." No,
he doesn't even run away. He tries to avoid us because he understands that we're on his tail. So because we go to see him in the church, and they're like, "Oh no, he's out." I was like, "What? We had a meeting. We're supposed to meet here." And then we walk out, and that's when we find out he was a bishop. Okay,
perfect.
Yeah. That's when we get the flashback, which.
The smoking gun.
It's literally the smoking gun. He had brought some like fucking, I don't know what they were, like priests with him to essentially try to revive Thornton again.
Oh yeah, yes.
I love the idea that this little old man and his two priests wormed their way into Az's Law.
Yeah.
Into the etherochemical research facility.
That's where
I love that. Like, I love how he treats these two little priests. Like he treats them like morons.
Yes,
He's
yes.
lackeys.
So obviously it doesn't work. They try and yeah. Sorry.
Is it not? It's like an artificial body, isn't it? Like, where do they get this?
It's like a clone, isn't it?
Was it a clone?
I guess.
Is it a clone? They just like they're like looking around the theoretical research.
They refer to it.
There's a body here.
They refer.
Let's use this.
Yeah, I guess that's what it is. It might just be a random dead body as well. I mean, he is.
No, I don't think it's a dead body. I think it's like actually not a. They found a corpse and turned it into a clone.
Yeah, there you go.
Confusing.
That's what I thought. I mean, remember, they're priests. Of course, they can get access to corpses. That's like the easiest thing for them, I guess.
Okay.
They just get a fresh corpse, slap it on the ground, and then it turns into the clone, which we later learn is essentially all of the Knights 12.
Yeah, the Heavens Ward.
Yeah.
He's a very weak primal.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
He's a very weak primal, and he's very confused because he has the thoughts of like 12 different people swirling around in his head.
Yes.
Very schizophrenic, the poor guy. I mean, that must be. I don't. Yeah. God.
Yeah, he doesn't know who he is. Well, there's one thing he knows for sure, and that is he has to protect the Archbishop, because obviously that's the one thing they all had in common, is that they were very loyal to their Archbishop. So he staggers around. That's what we learn. He staggered around the Ishgard.
They summon him via using like Thornton's that's the sword Thornton left behind.
Yeah, that's how Emmerich is like, okay, I think I know how to get this guy.
They used like the last of the ether from Thornton's summoning.
Yeah, we're sort of skipping a moment. It's not that important, but it sheds some light on the problems because we're thinking about the people that are like, oh God, our faith is broken. But also the clergy, like the priests, everyone who's like been part of the faith, who's innocent, they are now being like spat at. They're being mistreated.
Society's shifted.
Yeah, so they are now the enemy. It feels like. So we have this encounter with some priests.
We have the House of the Lords and the House of the Commons, but we have nothing to protect the priests.
Think of it like the French Revolution. You know, when that rich woman that was
about this.
Well, but because they're just French elves, Mailer. But like, remember that story of that? The one of the things that brought an end to the French Revolution was the rich, because most of the rich people went up to the gallows with dignity, but one of them, she was very upset. She was screaming and like begging to be let go, and then the peasants were like, ugh.
Yeah, that's when they realized, oh God, what is this? So that's sort of being planted in our head. Is like, oh God, there's not just the people; it's actually the people within the system as well are having a hard time here.
Not all. I think the younger lad. I think is he the deacon?
He's a deacon.
Is he
Clam?
He's quite nice.
I think
he seems like the future of the church.
Yes,
Clem is from the Scholastic questline, isn't he?
He's a good lad.
Yeah,
I like him.
Yeah,
it's the oldies
he's a deacon.
And the strange like old priests that they need
he's not.
Get rid of.
No, I think I'm just misremembering.
So we need to shorten this a lot, but essentially, Emmerich calls it something fancy. Which is like gathering of
medicinal
something like that. Yeah. I have no idea. I've never seen that in my life. What?
The arenal?
No, arenal.
No, we don't have time for this.
We don't have time for arenal. Dude, let's not bring that up. So they gather the heads of the faith into the. I'm assuming that's the one of the chambers. Actually, it's the throne room. It's the old throne room.
The members of the synod.
Yeah, they have an open discussion of the faith.
An ecumenical council.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's okay. I'm looking it up on Console Games Wiki.
Nice.
I don't remember.
I did not expect to see the title of proletarian priest or something like that. That was like, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, they debate on the faith with the proletariat priest.
Yes.
He's like, we got to fucking kill the noble priest right now.
Yeah, he
literally
essentially
their fault.
Yeah. He was very adamant.
And the noble priest being like, only we know the scripture.
Yeah. And then they kind of find a middle ground. They need reform, obviously. There's a lot in the faith that is incorrect. And eventually
Which doesn't involve killing the noble priests.
Right.
Gives that up super quickly, by the way.
Yes.
His passion for his his bloodlust.
Yes.
Gone.
Yes. So that sort of starts to happen. But we still have to deal with this blasphemy.
Yeah.
So that's when Emmerich is like, okay, I know how to get him, because the one thing this person or this blasphemy wants is to protect the archbishop. I'll bring out his not little, it's quite big, his staff thing. It has a fancy name, and he just goes dunk, and he says like Knights 12 come.
The Holy Crozier.
Oh, there you go, Holy Crozier, yeah. And it lands. We fight it in the vault, by the way, which
that's pretty cool.
Big location.
Yeah.
And then we end it.
This blasphemy is so weird because it's a blasphemy that's like, it was a primal and then it became a blasphemy. I didn't know that was a thing that could happen.
Yeah.
I think this was the most like mind-bendy one of the 5 quests.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because it was originally like a real body.
Maybe
it could go through those steps.
Remember, he was also not
just being
fully. He wasn't like. He was like a. I don't know what.
He was like a half primal, half human.
Yeah.
Half corpse.
Yeah. And then it sort of ends.
Not much to the fight, I don't think, because magical DPS doesn't have any utility, so they can't put in. Like, it's more just about AoEs and stuff, but it was pretty fun.
It was alright. I had a good time.
I think it might have had some. I can't really remember it, but it might have had like the chain mechanic or something. I don't remember.
I don't really remember.
It had the fireballs from Mr. Staff Magic Man, and it had the
yeah.
Oh God, what else? I think it's
just Sharabert again, basically, wasn't it?
Yeah, it had a lot of fire mechanics. I remember that.
Which job did you guys do this as?
Summoner.
Did it as Red Mage.
Probably Black Mage.
I think I did it as Red Mage, even though I could have done it as Summoner. And then we didn't talk about the range one. Which one did you do for the range?
Bard.
Machinist.
Dancer.
I did as Machinist, yeah.
I think Machinist is my only level 90 range.
But it was a good quest.
Also, it ends on like a note where they're like, okay, the faith is changing. They're actually working on it now. It's going to happen. And then there's some Emmerich's development is very minor in this one, but there is like he does talk about his father.
Most of Emmerich's development is through the prism of Artuero's perspective.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
He had better development in that Tales from.
Yes. So that is it. Those are the 3 role quests.
How would you rank them so far of these 3?
Melee, magic, ranged.
That is the same order I would put them in.
Yeah.
So
same here. Yeah,
okay.
Magic and range.
There you go. There you go. Next week we'll do tank and healer and the cap quest.
Yes.
So make sure you've done those before watching next week. That's it for the show. Thanks for watching, everyone. We are going to go into a quick post show after this, so make sure you catch that if you're watching live. Remember to follow on Twitter at SpeakersXIV, twitch.tv/speak. Oh my god, twitch.tv/SpeakersOfIreland, youtube.com/SpeakersXIV, exclamation, Discord and chat if you're watching on the. Oh my god, I'm having brain lag. Twitch.tv.
You're turning into K.
Okay, Harry, I'm going to do it now perfectly. Remember to follow on Twitter at SpeakersXIV, twitch.tv/SpeakersOfIreland, youtube.com/SpeakersXIV, exclamation, Discord and chat if you're watching on demand, links in the description. Remember to send us MogMail, speakersxiv.com/MogMail, and if you're watching live, the post show is coming up. We'll be answering questions from the Syndicate. See you there. Until next week, goodbye.
Goodbye.